Hi there, Lloyd Machedo speaking to you from LloydMachedo.com. Who's Lloyd Machedo and Think Personal Branding? The date is June 9th, 2018. Time right now is 9:26 in the night. Okay, I got this customer who actually paid me just to ask me a couple of pointers with regards to what are the factors he should keep in mind when starting a freelance business or when starting a business. He was an employee. So I just thought I'd share these few points with you which would help you. Now, keep in mind that if you are an employee, if you're actually an employee, what you do is you have to show up to work on time, which is very, very important. And you need to make sure that whatever the target is given to you, or whatever process is given to you from A to Z, you execute that process properly. Okay, it can involve from showing up to the office on time, answering emails, meeting customers, meeting vendors, going for meetings, ensuring the processes run smoothly from department A to department D or whatever. So, end of the day, you're just like one small part of the entire system. It's like a small a cogwheel which makes the entire system run. Okay, it's like being part of a machine. However, when you're thinking of moving to becoming a freelancer or running a business, you're talking of from being one part of the system to actually creating an entire new system. And that is very, very different. Now, I made the transition from being an employee to being a freelancer or a businessman. However, it was not something that I did optionally. I was left with no option because I lost everything and I decided I'm not going to go back into that world. So it was sink or swim. So now I'll give you a couple of pointers that you need to keep in mind when you're moving from being an employee to being either an employer or a freelancer. Now, keep in mind, freelancer is different, business is different. Okay, these are two totally different things. Don't mix both of them. You cannot think freelancer is same as running a business. When you're a freelancer, you're the product, you're the service, you're the one whom people should come to as a consultant. When you're talking of being a businessman, you are the facilitator. You're the person who puts things in place. You're not the product. You're not the service. You are managing a system. Okay, so these are two different things. And in a freelancer, the expenses are low and the revenue also can be low, but you can charge much more for creativity. In terms of business, the revenue is much more, but the expenses are enormous. They're pretty huge. At the same time, in both cases, you tend to have competitions. But as a freelancer, you would say your competition is more at the lower level, and as you climb higher, the competition thins out. But in terms of business, the competition can remain stagnant and actually can grow as you grow even further. Because what happens is you start meeting the bigger dogs, the big dogs where you have to have fights. You'll also have competition globally. So keep in mind that being a freelancer is different, running a business is different, okay? Now, what are the some of the key questions if you're talking about being a freelancer? I think personally speaking, from me, this is my example, the most important thing of being a freelancer is you need to be out there, okay? The more people that know you, the more the chances of you being noticed. You need to identify, number one, what you're good at. Second one is how much can you charge per hour, per project, per week, per month, per year. You need to know what differentiates you from the other people. You need to know what are the ABC, like let's say standard, premium, or super premium, or it's like silver, gold, and diamond packages. You need to know what are the extra upgrades that you can offer. For example, you go to McDonald's, you just order a burger, and then he says, would you like French fries and Coke just for $1 or $2 extra? And when you say yes to that, they say, how about putting $1 extra? Will you double the size in terms of your Coke, in terms of your French fries? You'll be like, that's pretty tempting. So $5 anyway, I'm spending $1 more, I get so much more. And then they say, oh, we'll give you this ice cream for free and this toy also for free if you put $1 more. So there's always an upsize. So as a freelancer, you always need to not only get the entry level, you also need to have, would you like this package? And would you like this upsize? So you need to have this as a freelancer. The other thing that you need to have as a freelancer is you need to have those very catchy key phrases, statements, and selling points. Like whenever anyone speaks to me, I know exactly what to say to which person. So if a person's earning a salary of $1,000, I know what are the packages to sell to him. I know what are the statements to tell him. If he tells me he is in the $10,000 range salary, I know that I don't want to sell him something that is only $100. I want to sell him something that's $10,000. So you need to identify who are your key customers, what are the packages that you're selling for each and every key customer, what is the duration that you want to keep the relationship, and most important in the whole gamut of this setup is how can you get the cash in advance? Because if you don't get the cash 100%, you don't sustain, you don't survive. And the only other thing that you need to keep in mind in terms of being a freelancer is, I think, the being people constantly coming to you, listening to you, speaking to you, interacting with you, reading what you have to say. If you get this steady stream, that's where you survive as a freelancer. That is why I put these YouTube videos. That is why I put these articles. That is why I write as a freelancer. What happens is more and more people come to know what I'm doing. Now, when you're talking about running a business, that is a different beast altogether. The first thing that you need to keep in mind in terms of business is, number one, most important is you need to have tremendous amount of capital. And if you're talking about capital, whatever is the business that you're planning to run, you need to have enough capital for 2 years. And you need to keep in mind that that capital for 2 years that you're going to put in, most probably you're going to lose all of it. Okay? Keep in mind, you will end up losing all of it. And the average cost that I've seen people in business, even if they just start up, they lose roughly around $100,000 to $200,000 just as a startup. So that is the amount of money that you will lose if you start a business. And the first 2 years is only you pumping in money. And keep this in mind, no matter how smart you are, no matter how much you think you calculated the costs, whatever the cost you have calculated, licensing fee, office space, legal fees, just multiply that into 2. So whatever you thought about and you think that you have targeted and covered all the expenses, just have double the budget for that, because that is the extra overheads that will go. That's the first thing. The second thing is, in running a business, without having a team, you cannot sustain, you cannot survive. And managing employees is such a bloody headache. Forget what they say about Google, forget what they say about winning teams, managing people. In the real world, managing people is a fucking headache. It's a big bloody headache. It's going to drive you nuts. Forget all these management, like, encourage people, motivate people, build teams, do this teamwork. All that is crap. In the real world, it just works on money. And you cannot buy loyalty, because people come and people go. It's very hard. I think the hardest part of running a business is managing people by itself, getting trustworthy people. Just imagine how difficult it was to find the right marriage partner. You can just multiply that, 5 times more in getting loyal, faithful people who work for you, listen to you, and do what you say. The other thing about running a business is you need to focus on so many different areas, from the expense to the sales, to running the process, to bringing down your overheads, to planning out what is the future, to keeping cash ready, to getting the payments on time, to sustaining and doing things right the next day. So there are so many variables in terms of business. Given a choice between a freelancer and business, I would say go for a freelancer, don't go for a business, because in a freelancer, the expenses are low, the revenue is low, the risks are low, but at least you can, work anywhere, anytime, any place. When you're talking about a business, you need to be there. It has to be physically present, and you can't leave your business any point of time, because if you leave your business, your employees most probably will run your business to the ground. And I've seen this. The guys have just gone for a holiday. When they came back, it was a disaster. So keep this in mind. So these are some of the points that I would give you if you're moving from being an employee to starting your own business as a freelancer, or as running a business. Between the two, I would say go as a freelancer. Don't think for a minute that, I can just start up a business. Just because you're good at a process, you're good at your work, doesn't mean you're good at business. Business is a different beast altogether. It's like, if I were to give you the right metaphor, analogy, it would be like saying that a college student saying, I'm in love, believing that having a girlfriend is the same as getting married and having 2 children. Okay, these are 2 totally different things. Totally different things. So if just having a girlfriend, just for no strings attached, is more like being an employee, being married is, and being in a relationship for 10 years is like being a freelancer, and having 5 children where you're looking after the girl's parents, your parents, and you have to manage the family, is running a business. So that is the best example that I'll give you in terms of the analogy. So I hope this answers your question. Please do not look at business and freelancing as an escape route. It takes a lot of experience, a lot of expertise, a lot of dedication, and the luck factor plays a vital role. If you ask me, try to get yourself a mentor. Try to get someone who already has the experience, who can guide you step by step. And I would say, if you're thinking of making the transition, put your leg in one boat, that is your employment, where you get a regular revenue, and then experiment at the side as you get customers and clients, and keep this. So one side you keep your employment where you get a monthly salary, and then try to manage this. And when this one, that is your business, you start getting regular revenue coming in, and I'm talking of net profit, not money comes in, money goes, money comes in, money goes. That is not a successful business. That is just you running a process. So if you're getting profits where whatever amount let's say for example, you're getting $10,000 per month as an employee, but here you manage to get $10,000 as profit per month consistently throughout the year, okay, then you can make the transition from here to here. However, if you're getting $10,000 salary here, but here you're getting revenue of 1 million, but after your expenses, you're getting only, let's say, $5,000 or $2,000, it's not worth it. So make sure that you have something to fall back on, and then make this run. And when this one runs well, that you're getting the same revenues, run it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And when it goes smooth and you feel, now if I put 100%, this will shoot up even more, then make the transition. But please keep in mind, do not be speculative. Do not be overly optimistic. Don't believe your own hype, your own bullshit, because when things have to go wrong, it can really, really go wrong. And business is very dangerous. And the only biggest drawback that I can see in being a freelancer is you not make the money that you expected. You'll end up just being in a limbo. And once you move as a freelancer, it's very hard to get back to the employment world, because most of the companies, they do not want to employ someone who's dynamic, who has done things his own, because they'd always look at this guy would copy my idea and take away my business. Anyway, these are my thoughts in terms of some of the pointers that I would give employees if they are thinking of starting a business or being a freelancer. Other things to keep in mind is just make sure that your business profile, your online presence, your online communication, literature that you have with regards to yourself, the content is world class. Don't just focus on the visuals. That is having amazing photographs, an amazing website. That all is just gimmicks. It's like seeing someone who's dressed up really amazingly, dressed up fabulous. But end of the day, it's the value that they get. It's not just visual appeal. So I hope these points help you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't like it, give it a thumbs down. And love to read your comments. This is me signing off for now. Take care.